Hello, friends. Hope you're all doing well today. The book that we're going to look at today can be found on Epic, and our book today is called Once Upon a Rainy Day. So, what we're going to be doing today is I want you to listen carefully while I read this book to you, and I want you to think about if you can make a text to text connection. Now, what that means is if you have read a book that sounds similar to the book that I am reading, I want you to give a thumbs up and think about what is the same about the book that you read and the book that I am reading today. That is what we call a text to text connection, when we are connecting what we've read from another book to a new book. So, as we read today, I want you to think about if anything stands out to you that you have heard before. Also, think about those words, once upon. What type of genre do you think this is? What type of book could this be? Correct. It is definitely a fictional story. And while we are reading today, I want you to really use your imagination and create the story in your mind. Here we go. This is the story of a story that starts over every day, each morning the same way. Mr. Warbler, the keeper of this story, is about to step outside his cottage in his fine feathered suit. Just as the sun rises, he will head slowly and surely down the blue path leading to the forest. The same path that leads straight to the home of the big bad wolf. A black, hairy half-monster with pointed ears, long teeth, a cold, wet nose, and a lolling tongue. Ooh, boys and girls, can you close your eyes and visualize the big bad wolf? With a hairy monster with black pointed ears and long teeth. Every morning, Mr. Warbler wakes up the big bad wolf with 10 quick raps and 3 long knocks on his heavy wooden door. That's when the big bad wolf appears and his day can begin. What do you think the big bad wolf is going to be up to? But today it's raining, so Mr. Warbler doesn't venture outside, and the big bad wolf sleeps in. And so it goes. The same story, day in, day out, except when it rains. The trees know the story well. Every morning they see the big bad wolf race over to Oscar's house. Who is Oscar? Who do you think Oscar might be? Why is the big bad wolf going to see Oscar? Oscar is a delectable pig with plump thighs and tender feet who takes care to keep his snout clean. He lived in the city before moving here with his entire library. Oscar adores rainy days like today, snuggled all cozy and warm under a tartan blanket. He devours stacks of books. But on sunny days, it's always the same story. The big bad wolf races over to catch him. Oh, so we have now learned that Oscar is Yes, he is a pig who likes to keep things nice and tidy, as well as he loves to what? Correct, he loves to read. Fortunately, Oscar is a very cunning pig. While the big bad wolf tries to break down his door, Oscar escapes through a back window and jumps onto his bicycle. He pedals fast as can be over to his friend Amadis's house to hide. The big bad wolf gallops after him, yelling the same thing every time. Blasted pig! If I catch you, I'll eat you! Let's look at that word cunning. Now, remember, boys and girls, if I don't know the definition of a word, then I can reread the sentence and look for clues on the page to help me out. So, the word is cunning. Well, let's think about that. Oscar escapes through a back window and jumps onto his bicycle. And he's pedaling very fast to his friend's house to escape. So, clever could be a synonym for the word cunning. Oscar always gets there first. He hides his bicycle in the bushes and slips into his friend's house. Amadis is a famous hare, a very clever one who knows the woods inside out. He has lived here from the day he was born. He stores a giant stash of carrots in his little hut, and in the big hut where he sleeps, he hides a well-kept secret. So let's think about Amadis. Amadis is a famous hare. What animal is known as a hare? Correct, a rabbit. So we now have Oscar the pig, the big bad wolf, and Amadis, who is a rabbit. An underground passage. Oscar and Amadis make their way beneath the rocks to the home of their friend Niles. Above ground, the big bad wolf howls in rage. Rotten hare! Blasted pig! If I grab you, I'll gut you! But the big bad wolf never does manage to grab them as they pop out of the tunnel. Oscar and Amadis always make it to Niles' place before him. Niles is a flying squirrel. He traveled the world before landing in this tree one fine spring day and retiring his adventure's gear. So, we've had the big bad wolf, we've had Oscar the pig, Amadis the hare, and now we have our new friend Niles, who is a flying squirrel. In the treetop, he has built a platform for his hot air balloon. The minute the big bad wolf charges into sight, Niles grabs his little traveling trunk, helps his two friends on board, and fires up the balloon. He sets his course for the house belonging to their pal, Pop-Off, the big mouth bear. Oh my goodness, now we're going to visit a who? The bear. The big bad wolf chases after them below, throwing stones and bellowing, Wretched squirrel, rotten hare, blasted pig! If I knock you down, I'll gobble you up. But the hot air balloon looks magnificent in the clear blue sky, soaring proudly beyond reach. Niles grabs his telescope from his little trunk and soon spots Pop-Off's house and Pop-Off himself pointing to his rooftop. For many years, Pop-Off was a circus clown. One summer night, he stopped here to perform with his troupe under the big top. But early the next morning, when the circus left, he stayed behind to devote himself to his music. He is very fond of Oscar, Niles, and Amethyst. When the balloon lands, Popoff welcomes them with a toothy grin. Can you make a toothy grin? Close your eyes and imagine a bear with a toothy grin. So, it's always the same old story. The big bad wolf shows up, and Oscar opens the door, exclaiming, "Do come in, dear friend." The minute he's inside, Niles trips him, and Amethyst shoves him into the pipe that leads into the huge trumpet. Popoff blows so hard with his enormous mouth that the big bad wolf flies through the air. So, it seems that these friends have solved their problem of getting rid of the big bad wolf. They use the help of Popoff with his enormous mouth and his enormous trumpet to blow the big bad wolf through the air. Crash! His story always ends in the Cabbage Patch. The wolf makes his way home, battered and bruised and flushed with rage. The whole way there he grumbles, "Confounded bear, wretched squirrel, rotten hare, blasted pig! One day I'll get my paws on you and finish you off." But that day has yet to come. And every night the four friends celebrate at Popoff's house. Together they sing, "First he tried to catch us, then he swore he'd gut us. Next he vowed to gobble us up, but he couldn't pull it off. Now he's in the Cabbage Patch, the wolf has met his match." The next day, if the weather allows, the story begins all over again. Actually, the rain has stopped now. The sun is out. Uh-oh, what do you think is going to happen? What an awesome book, boys and girls. I hope you enjoyed this. So, what we're going to do, remember we were talking about text-to-text connections. Have you read a book before that reminds you of the story we listened to today? A book that I thought about that connected with this book was the story of the Three Little Pigs, because we have a pig as a character in this story, and who was after the pigs and the Three Little Pigs? Correct, a big bad wolf. So that was my text-to-text connection. I hope you enjoyed making a text-to-text connection as well. Let's review the characters in our story. Remember that when we were starting at the beginning, we had the storyteller. Anybody remember what his name was? Mr. Warbler. Remember that he is the keeper of this story. So he comes out. He goes to wake up the who? The big bad wolf comes on out with his long ears and long teeth. He goes to find who? That's right, Oscar the pig. Oscar the pig, though, is cunning, remember? So what does Oscar do? He escapes, and he makes it to whose house? Correct, he makes it to Amethyst's house. Who Amethyst is a rabbit. Very good. Then Amethyst and Oscar escape to whose house? That's right, Niles. Remember that Niles is a what? He is a squirrel. And they travel in the hot air balloon to whose house last? Correct. They travel to Popoff's house, and Popoff is a big bear. Very awesome. And remember that they do have the problem of the big bad wolf trying to eat them. However, how do they solve their problem? If you look very closely here, you can remember that they solved their problem because Popoff blows so hard with his enormous mouth that when the big bad wolf is in the trumpet, he flies through the air and ends up in the Cabbage Patch. And remember, boys and girls, this story happens what? For these characters, it happens every day. What a great story. And remember that this story, is this fiction or nonfiction? Correct. This is a fictional story. The details in this story are not real. Hope you enjoyed this awesome book today. Missing you all, and I hope you have a great day.